Hey there. So here is a summary and recap of today. Today was about exploring reverse focus and boundaries and just seeing what we got kind of under the hood. So we started off today in the training room working on name games. So the expectation here is I call his name. He needs to sit and look at me and be calm. Now, I'm not letting him get a reward or a treat or play unless he's sitting. So right here, he's trying, but he's also throwing his front two paws at me. But this is where, hey, this is the expectation moving forward. This is how I get to do it. He was so excited doing this. He was adorable. But it's also where, nope, we have to be calm when we get to say hello to people. We have to be in a ready position. And when we're done, we get big play, we get to be goofy. Now, I kept this clip in here because I don't remember us talking about whether he's a fetch dog or a frisbee dog, but he was picking up the frisbee and bringing it back. Now, I only got it about 4 times, but he seemed to really like the idea of bringing something back. Now, I was paying him for every time he came back to me, but that still shows great initiative on his part. So just something kind of fun of a skill that I wasn't expecting him to have. Um, so we'll keep encouraging fun trick behaviors and fun things like bringing it back and dropping things. But this also can play into when we learn play disengagement. When we learn, hey, I need you to drop that towel, that shoe, that squirrel, whatever it is, when he's not supposed to have it. So just a fun clip I left in. A lot of times when we do training, we'll do a skill and then we'll play, and then we'll do high focus, and then we'll get to do something goofy. We want to make sure that they're always having fun, and especially at this age range, um, they're kind of ADD, so we have to be ADD in our training, which keeps us both focused, honestly. But I can get longer sessions out of him. But just something fun to see. Now, I did switch over to a ball and rope. Again, I was just messing with what does he enjoy, what type of thresholds, what type of toys. But this is a toy that I'm going to do play disengagement with. It's also one that I was working on, basically a leave it command or a drop it command. Now, when we talked about training, I like to utilize universal commands. So, a command that has multifaceted meanings. So that way, you're not worrying about it. Did I use the right command? Did I ask the right thing? It's all about basically getting his focus. Now, right here, I called his name, and as the beginning of doing name game where he has to sit and look at me, same thing for when we have play disengagement. So I'm not tying a leave it command or a drop it command here. I'm actually tying his name, which is a full on drop the thing I have in my mouth and I immediately look at you because it's something is way, way better. And he got to play chase and toss with it too. So right here, you can see where we're going to do play disengagement. I said, okay, I gave him the toy. I'm purposely getting him crazy. We could play rough. But the moment, and actually he kind of kept letting it go, so I was just trying to tease him right here. But the moment I stop and ask for his name, I tell him and when he lets go and he sits for me, that's when the ball gets to be released. Or when we're crazy and I want him to settle, he has to sit. Sitting and looking at you is the ultimate key for everything. That's what we got to really reinforce. Now, I also filmed a clip of us doing some walking, so I apologize that it's a little wonky. I put him on a prong collar because we had talked about a slip and prong and stuff like that. I wanted to see um, if we just have something that's a slight more pressure than a slip lead, how he'd respond to it. Now, I am paying him for being right next to me. So when he's with me, not every time, but about every third to fifth time that he's right next to me, I'll give him a treat to keep his focused engagement. And I'm also pairing it with a slight correction on that prong collar. So anytime that he moves ahead of me, I just give him a slight tension release. There should never be consistent tension on a prong collar. We can go more in depth about how to integrate a prong collar in your day to day too. But here's a video of us working at a different time today where it's also about body pressure. Will he respect your body if you turn into him? Will he respect your body if you change directions on him? It's not just about the squirrely, ooh, what's that over there? It's also, hey, you got to be engaged with me. Being that teenager and being an intact male just means that we have to almost do like a drill, focus, 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 and then we can relax into. And this is a nice walk. It's not uncommon to get them the first 5 minutes of any dog. They're just super squirrely on a walk. But once we're calm and focused, then it's, hey, the light bulb's clicked on. We can keep moving forward. Now here I stopped using any pressure on the slip lead or on the prong collar and just use praise and some treats. So this is where how motivated is he without any pressure on his neck or without any pressure from the leash communication. I dropped a treat and he was focused for a good solid 30 seconds that maybe another treat had manifested on the ground. So I asked him for a sit to refocus. But this is where, all the training that you did as a puppy, it's in there. It's totally in there. It's just about what his motivation is and building up his environmental exposure and practice with. But it was a great way to see, today was a great way to see where he is in just without mom being there. How does he listen in some generally neutral environments? We'll keep exposing and practicing this as we get further in our day school practice. But it's definitely in there. It's just kind of buried amongst teenager goofiness and getting him to focus. Okay, now this last little bit that you're going to see is a snippet from the daycare yard. There's a really cool clip in here from one of his daycare sessions. I had him starting off in a slip lead. We just worked on engagement and get him to focus. Here's a really cool thing. This group is a bunch of other dogs that are his same age that are also intact males. So it is high drive, high goofball energy. Now, notice on the left-hand side, he is doing donuts around that doghouse. Now, I am going to call his name. I'm going to mark it negatively because he didn't listen to the first time. I'm going to call him right after that. And he comes running to me and sits in front of me. It is so freaking cool that I was able to get his attention to focus and drive on it, especially when he was playing and chasing another dog. So I wanted to share you the fun snippets.